Hello everybody, welcome back once again. I've got another quick Clair Obscur Expedition 33 video for you here. This time we're talking about farming Color of Lumina. This becomes available once you've unlocked the Tower Peak Exploration flag inside the monolith. Great place to farm. Let me just show you the route here. So basically we're going to run back in towards the center of town here. Just avoid these enemies to the left. And we're going to run down here in between the wall and the statue and grapple across. And then we'll just initiate combat here. Sort of important here how you set up, sort of, not really, but a little bit, right? I always like to have Lumina all the way off on the left-hand side. I'll show you how to do that, actually. Just kind of one of those details. So this, because of the weapon that I've got her equipped with, she's generating 2 random stains at the beginning of combat. Now here I actually got a bad, what I would consider a bad set of stains, being that it's a lightning and an ice. That basically means that I have to use wildfire here. Ideally, you use Stormcaller first, but again, I can't do that because of the specific stains here, mostly because she started out with a lightning stain there. So we're going to end up using wildfire. Now, the kind of nice thing though about wildfire is I've got the critical burn Pictos equipped on everybody, and so now everybody's got a 25% crit increase because of the fire. For Verso's turn here, he's not really going to be doing much. We're just going to use a light holder here on the enemy in the center. Try to get a little bit of damage going there for him. But here Mael is the superstar. First of all, we're going to do Gustav's homage. And do just a ton of damage here. 80k. So if I would have been able to use a Stormcaller right away, she would have done like 100k, but just not able to do that with those stains at the beginning. Luna's second turn here is going to be Elemental Genesis. That'll always be her second turn, assuming that you've got the correct stains from the first turn. Next up here is going to be a gradient attack with Mael.
You can't escape.
And then we are going to use a last Gustav's homage. And that'll bring him down quite a bit. So hopefully a light holder will finish. Indeed finishes. So that is that. You know, again, unfortunately, I got a bad set of elemental stains at the beginning of combat, but it worked out. There's an even worse set of stains, though, and that's if you get doubles, right? So if you get 2 ice, 2 fire, 2 earth, or 2 lightning stains, that would be an even worse start. And then kind of the only way to fix that is to use an elemental trick, because you always want to have the correct stains to do an elemental genesis on your second turn. So again, there's ways around if you get kind of bad luck with those initial stains. But let's go over, and I should say, so basically all you do here then is obviously hit the flag, rest, and that's going to respawn those enemies. So you can just keep doing this over and over. But anyways, let's talk setup. So Luna is probably the most complicated of these characters to get set up for this. I've got her with the Bedalim. You don't necessarily need to use this, but you need to do elemental tricks if you don't have this instead, right? The reason why this works so well, though, is it says there at level 10 on turn start, if no stains, 2 random stains are generated. That really helps out, right, in terms of getting to elemental genesis on her second turn. But again, you can use an elemental trick. The issue with elemental trick, though, is you have to have a high enough crit rate, right? Because if you don't, and you don't crit on that elemental trick, then you're not going to get all the stains that you need to do that elemental genesis for the second turn. So, with her specific stat setup and her equipment, I actually do, specifically with her Pictos, I do have a 99% crit rate to kind of, you know, deal with that little issue of the random stains. Now, one other way around that, though, too, is if you don't get good stains at the beginning of battle, you could just get wiped out, right? Just not even try to parry anything, and then hit retry on the battle. So again, that's a kind of a contingency there if you don't want to deal with you know, having bad elemental stains at the beginning of combat. But anyways, that is the weapon that she's got right now. Let's talk Lumina's. Her Luminas are fairly important. Let's go over the ones that she's got here. So Auto Rush is a big deal. I really like that one. You just want to have a second turn, obviously, before enemies act. Burn Affinity isn't as important, and same with Critical Burn. These two are related because, you know, essentially if you are able to use a Wildfire on your first turn, then these are great, right? Then these will actually do you some good, but honestly, I would say more times than not, you won't be able to use a Wildfire on the first turn, and actually what you really want to do is Stormcaller first anyway. So these are not very critical to the strategy, but they can give her a little bit of a boost. That would be if you do use Wildfire first turn and then you use that Elemental Genesis the second turn, she'd obviously have a 25% higher crit rate, as well as 25% extra damage due to those two. But again, not super necessary, either of those two. Confident Fighter, 30% increased damage. That's great, right? Any of these Luminas that you can get that increase your damage are going to be pretty nice, but not critical. Now, the critical ones, though, here are Energizing Start 1, 2, and 3. You absolutely have to have these to have enough AP to get to an Elemental Genesis on your second turn. Same with Energizing Turn. You need that. So make sure that you've got all of those. First Offensive is okay, but this isn't that critical, right? That's only going to be a 50% increase in damage for your first turn. And on top of that, if you use Stormcaller, this doesn't do you any good. Glass Cannon, though, again, nice, right? Just a little bit of extra damage. Greater Rush is also nice. That's the Pictos, though, and that's why I've got that, is mostly for the stats. But that is nice, though, the extra rush speed increase. Immaculate for damage. Inverted Affinity for damage. In Medias Res is a great defensive Pictos. Probably the best one in the game, in my opinion. The extra 3 shields at the battle start is great. Most of the time, though, I should say, when you first start farming this stuff, if you don't have all the Luminas and you're not able to take things down, you know, in the first turn or before it gets a turn, then this can be helpful. But honestly, this doesn't do me any good either, because nothing lives long enough for, you know, them to even try hitting me. So keep that in mind. Random Defense, this is on just because it's part of her Pictos that she's got equipped. Same with Survivor. Teamwork is okay, you know, an extra 10% damage, but the other thing with this is that your weapon level, if it's high enough, a lot of these Luminas won't actually do you any good, right? Because we're capped at 9,999 damage anyway right now. And so that's kind of the nice thing, though, right? Like, as your weapon levels up, you need fewer and fewer of these Pictos that actually deal extra damage. So at this point, I can probably get rid of almost all of the damage-related Pictos and still be doing just fine. So Verso is essentially set up the same way. His weapon, though, doesn't matter really as much as Luna's does. You really just want to have something that's got good power, right? He's only using, was it like Lightbringer or whatever, like twice? I'm sorry, Lightholder. He probably uses that once. Sometimes he'll use that twice, and that's all he does in combat for me. And then Mail is set up just a little bit differently. Her weapon is also very unique and kind of important in the way that Luna's is. So she's got the Clearum. The critical hits with skills give 2 AP is huge for this strategy. It says once per turn. 20% increased lightning damage with skills, though, as well. That's very nice. Really helps out with her damage, obviously. The 50% crit chance while in offensive stance doesn't do anything because she doesn't spend any time in offensive stance. at least for me here. Now, her Luminas are essentially the same as the other twos. There's only one big difference, and of course keep in mind that I've got a lot of this stuff on that she does not need. Like Den Energy 1 and 2 are not needed, but the one thing that's different between her and Verso is the energizing gradient. She actually needs this in order to use Gustav's homage on her second turn, right? Because she uses Gustav's on her homage first turn, then she uses her gradient attack, and then she uses another Gustav's homage immediately after that, and she needs the energizing gradient ability to do that. So keep that in mind. Let's actually go over Pictos. That was the last thing that I wanted to go over here. So Luna's got Greater Rush for the speed and crit rate. She's got Random Defense for all the crit rate, and then Survivor as well, again, for speed and crit rate. You know, she's at 99%, and that's in case, again, you get really unlucky with the random stains there at the beginning of battle. If she gets a double, right? Because then you have to use Elemental Trick if you want to do the Elemental Genesis on the following turn, so keep that in mind. Verso and Mael are... you can really do a lot of different stuff here, but mostly I've got speed and crit rate setups here. Basically, these two have a 75% crit rate. You know, unfortunately, though, the only time we're hitting 100 is when we use Wildfire that first turn, because, again, everybody's got critical burn on. So, anyways, as far as setup also for turns, so again, what you really want to do here is make sure that you remove everybody else out of the party, and make sure that Lune is the only one in, right? And then you add the other two characters, and that makes it so that Lune is all the way on the left side, which means that she's going to act first. So again, that isn't that important. The only time that really comes into play is if you're able to use Wildfire on your first turn, right? Because then she gets the burn on there for the other two, so that they've got the 100% crit rate, assuming that they've already got the 75%. Last thing, let's go over the attributes. Basically, all of my characters are maxed agility and luck. Luck is the higher priority, in my opinion, so that you can get the crit rate, right? That's pretty much the way I've been set up the entire game, is maximum luck so that I can get to the 75% crit rate, and then the critical burn adds the extra 25% to get me the rest of the way. So after that, though, again, agility is much more important, getting turns more often, and then you can go, well, what I do is do might after that, right, for even more power. But that's really not critical. The last thing, though, that I really do want to stress, and I already said this once, though, is that the higher your weapon level is, the fewer of these damage-related luminas you need, right? So, like, the Bedalim is already at 2,212 power at level 20. So, again, that's very, very important for doing, you know, good damage and then not needing those extra lumina-related damage increases. So, anyways, that is it. That is the strategy. As always, I hope the guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.